So, Nick, about a year and a half ago, probably a little bit before your time here at Polygon, I actually spent a week or two in Ukraine. I went to the western part of Ukraine, then I also went to the eastern part of Ukraine to track down some of the teams that made the S.T.A.L.K.E.R games. Are you familiar with the S.T.A.L.K.E.R games?
I remember them, yes. I remember that is one of the most ridiculous acronyms in the history of video games.
Well, this is actually from one of the diaspora of teams that left GSC Game World when it broke up a few years ago. And this team is called Flying Cafe for Semi-Animals.
That's FCFSA. So it's not an acronym.
No.
They have steered away from. When I hear a convoluted long name like that, I always assume it's an acronym.
This is actually from the one of the team leads, perhaps the team lead, is the art director for one of the S.T.A.L.K.E.R games. His name is Ilya, and I won't try and mangle his last name too much, but this game is called Cradle, and it actually began as an unexplainable dream that he had a few years ago. He was dreaming, and he found himself in this round building with like a thatch roof, and he had to do research online before he was even able to figure out that the building he was inside of is called a yurt.
It's a thing had he seen it somewhere before in life and then just maybe subconsciously let it enter his mind?
He tells me he didn't, and he didn't even know what a yurt was, nor why he should find himself on the Mongolian steppe. So this game is a direct exploration of that dream that he had so many years ago, and it begins by putting on this strange little VR helmet and arriving in this unknown yurt in the middle of Mongolia and finding all these artifacts in your room, among them these flowers. And I don't know if I mentioned the plastic woman in the corner.
You didn't. Jeez Louise. I mean, like, it's funny that you tell me that origin story, because this is about as dreamlike as I think I've ever seen a video game get.
Throughout the course of the early part of the game, you're really not given anything to do other than make some soup. And so I'm over here in the one part of this yurt. I'm trying to essentially reboot this woman in the corner, and she's broken, right? She's missing components. She's not responding correctly. There's actually little artifacts that you can read scattered on the wall that tells you how to troubleshoot this friend in the corner. But the only thing I can really accomplish is to make soup, and I don't even know who I'm making soup for. So I'm exploring the environment. All this foreign, futuristic, but also rural Mongolian stuff is all around me. And it evolves into this kind of adventure game where I'm finding a lighter, and I'm finding firewood, and I'm getting a wok, and filling a cup with water, and making soup.
I kind of like that idea of giving you a mundane task in a super weird world as a means of exploring that world. There's something kind of like grounded and hyper-realistic about that.
So eventually I finally find all the ingredients, the salt, and I go outside and I throw sticks at a tree until fruit falls out, and I make the soup, and I bring it over to this, I don't know, this stand here, and I
soup holder.
The soup. This is my soup holder that I've got outside the yurt where I live, apparently. And there's this beautiful heat effect, and I'm looking out over this beautiful misty steppe when a giant gold eagle flies into view. And the recipe for soup is a recipe that I've written for myself, reminding myself to make soup for this eagle, and I don't know why.
How did you uncover that piece of information? Like, are you assuming that was a recipe you wrote for yourself, or is
there was a little note on the table. It was addressed to me, from me, telling me what to do. But it's at this point when I'm, I don't know, taking care of my eagle friend that I realize my eagle friend is also not real.
Oh, so, like the lady.
Just like the lady, or a different kind of construct, artifact. So I'm changing the vest on this eagle, and it's from this old vest that I'm taking off the eagle that I get a code, and that code unlocks a tablet that leads me to a series of emails that I've written myself over the years that takes me out into the steppe to find some toys that I buried when I was a child. Did you follow me?
I think so.
And with the toys that I buried when I was a child is this woman's brain, and that brings her back to
Jesus.
life.
It's funny, like, if you had told me if you had me guess, I guess, who this game came from, my first guess wouldn't be like former developers on Stalker. It would be Ace Team. I don't know if you're familiar with like Xenoclash and those games, but like this seems to be trading in the exact type of weirdness and surreality that those games always captured for me. This feels like almost like that, but not quite.
If it's possible, Nick, it gets even stranger from here. I begin to talk to the woman. It's very well voice acted, honestly. It's all very English-speaking voice actors. It's not dealing with any weird Eastern European stuff. It sounds good. The visuals of this woman's view screen that she's wearing, of her eyes, is something that you'll actually see in multiple characters in this video. It's very compelling.
Yeah, it's really... What is going on there? Is it like FMV of eyeballs?
Yeah. And it kind of loops and cycles and responds to you. But from here, I'm sent on this small fetch quest to go to an amusement park. And it's this weird, futuristic, Eastern European-looking, Mongolian, Chinese...
This is not a very amusing park.
No, this is really dark. But, here I am, an American, playing a game by some Ukrainians set in Mongolia. I don't know if this is amusing in Mongolia or not. Maybe this makes sense in a futuristic place.
Yeah. Who can say? Is that a slide?
That's a slide. That's how I'm going to leave this particular part of the map. But I hit this button, and it pulls me up in this little lift. And this is kind of where my experience with the game goes off the rails. I'm going to be honest. From here, I actually enter into a mini game that is terrible. And I'm not going to pull any punches here.
Just straight up bad, huh?
It's not fun to me, the player. There's like elements of Minecraft building in it. It is gorgeous. I'm going to remove blocks. I'm going to put blocks back into place. I'm going to find certain blocks and throw them into the center of the room. And whether I win the game or not, it will still give me the component of this little plastic woman in my yurt that I need to help her regain some of her memories and regain some of her functions. But I'm not entirely sure that this, as a design choice for this game, makes any sense at all.
Is it like, what's the matter? Is it super long and tedious, or what's the...
It is. And there's like a little AI guy, this little red dude with black dreadlocks that's working against me and stealing the blocks in the room and shooting out little... It's just bad.
I guess as long as... If that stuff was short, I'm actually down for games that have like crappy but ambitious, interesting little mini parts like that, as long as they don't drag on as forever as this one seems to.
Right. There's only a fraction of the game that's playable right now, and it just gets more and more engaging on a science fiction level as it progresses. It's got these elements of adventure game. It's got these elements, like you're talking about, of these really strange alternate future Eastern games, East Asian games. But then it's got this incredible graphical, uncompromising graphical fidelity to it that I'm really impressed by. And the animations, it's just some of the best looking game that I've seen this year.
Yeah, it's really, really striking looking. So you said that there's only a little bit that's playable right now. How is this? What form has this been released in, if any?
It's coming to Steam, and it's going to be available later this month. Towards the end of July, you're going to be able to buy it on Steam. I'm not quite sure what the length of it is going to be. It's going to be more than 6 or 8 hours, I think. This is what I'm going to leave you with, which is this tantalizing vignette that I ended the game on. I was photocopying flowers. This is my job. I'm out here on the Mongolian steppe, and I am a flower duplicator with a General Electric phytocopier.
I like that you actually have to, like, it's this very, just like making the soup, it's this very down-to-earth, boring, somewhat tedious version of what doing this job might actually be like in the future, where you have to grab the glass and put the slide on top of it and, like, do this whole thing.
There's a very rich story in here about consciousness and what it means to be in the future, and there's a very interesting science fiction story that goes along with it, and I'm really excited for people to discover it and to play it along with me when it comes out later this month. So definitely one to look out for.